My name is Raymond Brown.
Yeah, I'm born and raised here on Oahu, and from Mililani, but now living here in Waimanalo. Beautiful back roads. I'm a musician. I love many things, connecting with nature, learning about the ancient healing modalities based on eternal and universal truth, wisdom, such as yoga and meditation techniques and whatnot. And it's and I make music for yoga classes. I play in all sorts of settings, playing with a DJ, with house beats, and just finding inspiration from wherever I can.
What was it like to grow up on the islands?
It was beautiful. I feel really blessed that there's a sense of the ocean within me, within my heart, this low rumble of the ocean. And there's also the fire, the lava, the passion, and the forest. But I definitely took it for granted up until when I left when I was 18. I had traveled here and there before that, but it wasn't until I lived in Oregon for a couple of years for college where I realized how for granted I took Hawaii. And I lived in Big Island for a semester, lived in New Mexico semester, lived in Big Island again. I've traveled all over, and I've realized I don't know how people don't live in tropical places. And I haven't found anywhere better to live, so here's where I'm staying for now, anchoring in, settling in more and more every day.
You're a musician. For how long have you been making music? Or when did you get into it? How did you get into making music?
Well, I started playing guitar when I was 13, and it was because I got really good at this video game called Guitar Hero. And my dad saw me playing it, and he was like, "What is this? This is lame. I'll get you a real guitar." So he got me a guitar, and he played a little bit, and he showed me some blues and power chord. I was just like, "Wow, it's really cool. I wanted to learn." He's an audio engineer, and he set up many concerts and stuff. He taught me about sound growing up, so I was always exposed to good music, and he would teach me about sound and kind of how it worked. So that's how I naturally got into it. Just being in Hawaii, it's a very musical culture. Jamming, or kanikapila in Hawaiian, is to get together and to make music.
When did you make music into your profession?
I've been performing as much as I can for some years now. Probably at least 6-7 years. But in terms of making it my full-time profession, it's still a work in progress. But yeah, I trust it's getting there, and I'm starting to offer lessons and also music and meditation, guided sound journeys, and playing with cacao ceremonies, and learning more mantras and stuff of that nature.
You also teach with Aloha spirits, right? When I came to Hawaii, I thought Aloha only meant hello and goodbye, and then I came here, learned about it, experienced Aloha. Now I know that it's much more. It's a whole philosophy. How would you explain the spirit of Aloha to someone who has never been to Hawaii?
Aloha, so alo, as I understand it, is in the presence of. Although I've heard someone else say root, which maybe it's the same thing, being in the presence of and being at the root. And then ha is breath. But it's not only the breath, it's so much more than that. It's just this universal and eternal presence. So aloha literally means in the presence of breath. And so I feel that they understood, and that's the essence of all meditation teaching, is being centered and resting in the presence of breath. And that's how, when we center and rest in that, we are able to tap into the mana, the power of the land and of Akua, which is God. So aloha, it can mean hello or goodbye with love, but it's also a way of living. The law of aloha was actually the first law of Hawaii, to live in a way that's in accordance with aloha, with the land, being pono, which is righteous with all the creatures and the land and everyone else. And it's just a feeling that's in the air, it's difficult to describe or put into words. I feel that Hawaii has a lot to teach to the world when it comes to living the way of aloha.
What role does Aloha play in your music?
Yeah, always finding inspiration in that presence, staying centered to that, and even in life when we're led astray from distractions from that center, you just bring it back and you just forgive everything, start again, patiently and persistently. That's how with music, it's a big part of, I like to say, a vehicle to the way of aloha, or vibration can be a vehicle of the intention. So when I perform, I'm trying to not only play my song, but also like get into that state of aloha to put that intention onto that vehicle of these sound vibrations and to give it out to the world.
Have you also made music in other places, and do you feel a difference?
Yeah, I've made music while traveling. I've made songs. I made a song when I was in Spain, and that was definitely, I could feel why I had just witnessed a couple of flamenco shows, and like I could feel that influence. And I do feel that every genre of music, maybe not every, but when it comes to cultural genres, has its own spirit or entity in a way. And then the Hawaiian entity, it's I feel like Hawaiian music is what the land sounds like.
You do not only make music, you also teach. Can you tell me something more about your way of teaching? What method you involve, and what you pay attention to?
I really draw a lot from a man named Victor Wooten, maybe one of the best bass players, and his approach to music is treating music as a language. Thinking of being like a baby learning a language can be much more effective than trying to be an adult trying to learn this new process. Having that state of just exploring and adventuring, and I always just say like just noodle and listen, and through trial and error you get a sense of like the instrument and sound, and really like tapping into why someone might have a blockage to expressing that, because I feel that we're all inherently musicians, our hearts are beating and we're speaking, and plus all the lifetimes where we're around the fire drumming and singing, I feel that it's hardwired in us, in our spirit and in our DNA. So getting a person to remember that and to be able to express themselves without judgment, knowing that it's part of the process. A baby doesn't think like, oh, maybe I'm bad at talking, so I'm not going to talk. That's how the baby gets better.
But you make music by yourself, but you also make music with others, right? You're part of the Portal Band?
Portal Band, yes.
Yeah.
We mostly improvisational. When I say improv, there's so many motifs in life, and same with journaling. It's like you have these certain themes that come out, and for me there's all these puzzle pieces that come together in different ways in the midst of improvisation. Any flow state, the more you think about it, the harder it becomes to express what's on your heart. So like the more we can just let go of the mind and tapping into the heart, then the more we can naturally express that in any way that the spirit of music herself feels to work through us, to use us as an instrument, and we tune that to the higher harmonics we can, and the more we can clear the blockages of listening, then the more she can flow through us clearly. And I feel that everything boils down to just listening. From that space, we can move more in a direction that's the most harmonious.
How does it feel to make music with other people together compared to by yourself?
I think that's how it's meant. The beautiful thing about music and the arts is that it brings people together, which is we definitely need more of in this world, rather than the things that divide us. Making music with others is a very spiritual experience. I think one of the most, you can feel naked, when you're performing at times. But when you're naked by yourself versus when you're naked with others, it makes it a bit easier, I guess, to settle in. And then there's also so much inspiration, even just from someone listening, even if they're not even playing at all, just by them listening will give me new ideas. making it by myself can oftentimes be more of like figuring out and like just playing things over and over to get the mechanics down and figuring out new ideas that I can present with groups of people, and then also for my own songs and journaling and trying to express what is trying to be expressed in me.
So what role does music play in your life, if you would summarize it?
Medicine. It's the medicine of life, yeah, and it's a purpose, and it's a vehicle to many possibilities. I've realized that in this life, maybe other lifetimes, it's a very big part of my purpose here. And one of the easiest ways to get into a coherence with a group is through music. You know, when you're at a concert, and have you ever experienced that where you feel like everyone's experiencing the same thing at the same time, and the artist and the audience, and it kind of just sinks into this monochrome experience. It's so amazing, and I can't imagine life without it.
If you could summarize, or if you've thought about it, what is your philosophy of life?
Simplicity. And I've really been feeling a lot lately this feeling of arrival, not needing to reach. You know, like they say grass is greener on the other side, but really the greenest is the here and now. But there's nowhere else where you can ever really be. It's just the here and now goes infinitely in depth and subtleties, and so the more we can rest into that, the more we can expand these layers that were hidden to us before. I feel that everyone's life is a special treasure, it's a gem, and it's okay to forget it at times, because it's that journey through the forgetting that makes that reawakening in the remembrance even more special. And feeling that is very reassuring. It's like, okay, we've arrived, now what? Now what do we do? And to fully play our part, and to step up to the stage, and to embrace whatever comes up, to work through it anyways. It's hard to sum up, I guess.
Yeah,
in a sentence,
I love how you use terms related to music in this.
Yeah,
Like,
everything,
to the stage,
music and life, yeah, same with Victor Wooten too. It's like, it's all related, music and life, or like tension and release, and that's also with yoga, or it's like in music, it's just the balance of building tension and release, and the space in between the notes is just as, if not more important than the notes themselves. So like in life, taking space, taking rest is very important in that, even for music. The other day I was with some friends at a party, and we played probably 10 hours. We were jamming on and off. The next day I couldn't even pick up my guitar. I was like, oh, I can't even. The day after that I was back on it, but it's like, okay, I feel that today is a day to like let all those vibrations soak in.
Okay, last question. Is there anything you would have wanted me to ask, or is there anything you still want to share?
Yeah, I would say that in another way that I find music and people to relate is that, you know, we're all vibration, all is vibration. And also how the world is the universe is in a constant state of jamming, and it's constantly getting more and more in tune. The birds you can hear the birds singing, but you can also if you listen closely, the birds listening to each other. And you'll hear this like call and response, you'll hear all these different things going on. And so I feel that inherently we are music, we are musicians, we are jamming. Nature is in a state of jamming all the time. So like when we relate to each other, it's like maybe two people together might clash, but maybe in a third note having in there might give a context, and then it works. So I find that notes and people have that sort of similarity.